Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our third biology class. Are you ready? Shall we start the class? Okay. The name of our chapter is Microorganisms, Friend and Foe. Yes, now we are discussing about microorganisms. They are our friends because they help us in making food. For example, lactobacillus. It helps us to make curd. And this microorganisms helps in making medicines, for example antibiotics, vaccines, etc. This microorganism increase the soil fertility. How? By nitrogen fixation. They help in cleaning the environment. How? By decomposition. But these microorganisms are our foe. They are our enemies. How? They may cause diseases. Microorganism can cause diseases in human. For example, cholera, tuberculosis. These all are the disease caused by microorganisms. They can also cause diseases in animals. For example, anthrax. Anthrax is a disease which affects the cattle and human, and it is spread by a bacteria. And this microorganism can cause disease in plants also. Today we are going to discuss about the microorganism which can cause disease in plants. Okay. First disease is that citrus canker. These microorganisms can infect different plants. One of the example for the disease caused by microorganism is citrus canker. It is caused by bacteria. It is caused by a bacteria. How it is spreading, or what is the mode of transmission? Mode of transmission is air. So, citrus canker is a disease caused by bacteria and it is spread, or mode of transmission is air. Mainly it is infecting lemon. Can you see this picture? Can you see this picture? And this, can you see some brownish spots in this picture? Some brownish spots in this lemon? This is citrus canker. That means a canker-like appearance, a brownish dark colored appearance present in the lemon and in the leaves also. It is due to the action or due to the attack of a bacteria, and this disease is called citrus canker. It can be transmitted through air. Clear? Coming to the next disease, rust of wheat. What? Rust of wheat. This disease is caused by a fungi and it can be spread, or the mode of transmission is air or by seed. Students, did you notice the growth of a wheat plant? It will be in a large field. There will be lots of wheat plants. When one wheat plant is infected by this fungus, it will be spread by air and it will be spread by seed. That means all the wheat plants in that field will be infected by this disease. Clear? If one wheat plant is infected by this fungi, all the wheat plant in that field will be infected because this fungi can be spread through air and also by seed. Can you see this picture? This is a leaf of wheat plant. There are small brown spots in the leaf plant, just like a rust in the iron metal rod. In this leaf, you can see small brown spot just like the rust in the iron metal. So, the paddy plant which infected by this fungus will be like this. Clear? So, this is the rust of wheat. It is infected by a fungi and it is transmitted through air, seed. Okay. Another disease is yellow vein mosaic of bindi. Yellow vein mosaic of bindi. What do you mean by bindi? Bindi means simply the lady's finger. Clear? Yellow means just the color. What do you mean by vein? Suppose this is a leaf. This is the vein of the leaf. This is the mid vein and there will be small veins. So this is the vein of the leaf. So yellow vein mosaic of bindi means the veins of the leaf will be in yellow color. Not completely, just like a mosaic. That means, did you observe the mosaic tiles? Mosaic tiles, just like spots. Just like this, yellow color will be there in the veins. That is yellow vein mosaic of bindi. Can you see this picture? This is the leaf of bindi and in the veins of bindi there are yellow colored. The veins of the bindi are yellow colored just like a mosaic like appearance. This is yellow vein mosaic disease of bindi. Clear? The causative agent of this disease is a virus. Causative agent of this disease is a virus and it can be transmitted by insects. It can be transmitted by insects. So, we are discussing microorganisms about the disease causing microorganism in plants. These are the 3 examples of the disease. First one is citrus canker. It is due to the attack of a bacteria and the mode of spreading is air. And the next one is rust of wheat. It is due to the attack of fungi and it can be spread by air or seed. And the last one is yellow vein mosaic of bindi and it is due to the attack of virus and it can be spread due to the insects. Clear? So, we discussed about the diseases caused by microorganisms in humans, plants and animals. Now, we are going to discuss some bad character of microorganism. Another bad character is that food poisoning. Microorganism can cause food poisoning. Clear? How is it possible? For example, in the first class we discussed about a bread which attacked by a bread mold. A greenish white patches in the bread. Is it edible? No, we cannot eat that. If we eat that bread, it will result in stomach pain or vomiting or some other disease. So, it is not good. Clear? Like that, some microorganisms will grow on the food and it will result in food poisoning. That is, in the food, if we kept the food outside, microorganisms will grow in the food and they will produce some toxic substance. They will produce some toxic substance in the food. If we are eating this food along with the microorganism and the toxic substance produced by microorganisms result in food poisoning. If we are eating the food along with the microorganism and the toxic substance produced by the microorganisms, it results in food poisoning. Clear? That means if we are eating this, we will feel stomach pain or vomiting, diarrhea, headache like that. Students, in the last Google Meet, we discussed about a young man. He suffered from food poisoning due to eating shawarma. Did you heard that news? A man eats shawarma and died after 3 to 4 hours. How it's occur? It is because of the growth of microorganism present in the food. Microorganism grow in that food item and produce some toxic substance. That young man aid that food item along with the microorganism and the toxic substance produced by the microorganism, and it results in the death of that young man. So, food poison can be result in the death of a person. So, microorganisms are our enemy because it can cause food poisoning and it results in many diseases. Clear? So, we want to preserve our food. We want to preserve our food from the growth, or we want to protect our food from the growth of microorganisms. If a food item is spoiled, there may be a bad smell, or its color may be changed, or its texture may be changed, and there will be some other changes, like maybe some bubble formation will be there, and there may be some flies around it. So, if a food is not good, if a food is spoiled due to the growth of microorganisms, there may be bad smell, there may be change in color, there may be change in taste. So, by all these characters we can identify the spoiled food. So, how we can preserve this food item? So, we want to preserve our food. Yes, food preservation. Students, do you like the fruit mango? Do you like the fruit? Of course, we all like the mango fruit. Suppose we are keeping this mango outside for 3 to 4 days. What will happen? If we are keeping this mango just outside for 3 to 4 days, what will happen? The mango may be rotten. That means there may be some flies around that mango and its texture may be changed, its taste may be changed. That means it is not edible. We can't eat that mango because some microorganisms enters into the mango and spoiled it. Clear? But did you notice our parents makes mango pickle and it can be stored for several months, maybe up to years. How is it possible? The raw mango we are keeping just outside, it is spoiled by microorganism. But mango pickle, we can store that mango pickle for several months or maybe years. How is it possible? Because the water content in the pickle is very less. For the growth of microorganisms, water is needed. For the growth of microorganisms, water is needed. In pickle, the amount of water is very less. Instead of water, there may be oil or some other substance. Water content is very less. That's why it is important that don't take the pickle using a wet spoon. Clear? Don't take the pickle using a wet spoon. While we are taking the pickle using a wet spoon, the water content is introduced into the pickle. So, the microorganism can be easily grow because there is water. Clear? So, we are going to learn some food preservation methods. First one is chemical method. Chemical method. We can use some chemicals to preserve our food. For example, oil, salt. We can use oil and salt to preserve many food items. For example, in case of pickle. For example, in case of pickle, oil and salt. Due to the presence of oil and salt, microorganisms cannot grow, or it is very difficult for the growth of microorganisms. So, they cannot produce any toxic substance. So, the food is preserved. Example is pickle. And another chemical that can be used to preserve food is sodium benzoate. What? Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. These are the chemicals which can be used to preserve some food items. Which food item? For example is jam, jellies. Jams and jellies we can brought it from shop. We can buy it from shop. They can be stored to 6 or 7 months. How it possible? Due to the presence of these chemicals, sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. So, in chemical method, we can use several chemicals to preserve the food. For example, in the case of pickle, we can use oil, salt, etc. And in case of jam and jellies, we can use sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate. Clear? So, what are preservatives? These all are preservative. What are preservative? Preservatives are the compounds that can be used to check the growth of microorganisms. What? Preservatives are the compounds that can be used to check the growth of microorganisms. Or preservatives are the compounds which can be used to prevent the growth of microorganisms. Preservatives are the compounds that can be used to prevent the growth of microorganisms. Clear? So, this is the one method which is chemical method, and the second method is preservation by common salt. Preservation by common salt. Are you familiar with dry fish? Dry fish, what is its taste? It's very salty, isn't it? So, we can preserve many food items like meat, fish, etc. using the common salt. Due to the presence of high salt amount, for the microorganism it is very difficult to grow. Clear? So, we can preserve the food items like meat and fish using common salt. And in case of salted mango, we can preserve salted mango for years. It is due to the presence of salt. In the presence of salt, microorganisms cannot grow. Okay, coming to the third preservation method, it is preservation by sugar. Preservation by sugar. We discussed in high salt content, microbes cannot grow. In the same way, in high sugar condition, microorganisms cannot grow. Why? Because the water content is very less. For example, in the case of say jams and jellies. In the case of jams and jellies, the sugar content is very high. Due to this high sugar content, microorganisms cannot grow in that food. Clear? So, one is the chemical method. In this chemical method, we are using oil and salt to preserve many food items like pickle. And another chemical is sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. It will help us to preserve jams and jellies. And we can preserve the food item by common salt. We can preserve meat, fish, mango, etc. using the common salt. And we can preserve jams, jellies and other sweet substances or sweet food items because of the high amount of sugar. Because in that the water content is very less, so for the microorganism it is very difficult to grow. If they can't grow, they cannot produce any toxic substance, so the food is preserved. Clear? The fourth preservation method is preservation by oil and vinegar. We already discussed oil. It can be used to preserve food. For example, pickle. What about vinegar? Vinegar is a type of acid. So, in the presence of acid and in the presence of oil, it is very difficult for the growth of microorganisms. They cannot grow in this environment. It is little difficult. So they cannot produce any toxic substance. So we can preserve the food items. For example, fruits, vegetables, meat, fish all can be preserved using oil and vinegar. And the fifth point is that heat and cold treatment. Coming to the fifth point, heat and cold treatment. Students, suppose a vessel of water. Just boil a vessel of water. What will happen? What will happen to the number of microorganisms? It will decrease or increase? What will happen? It will decrease. That means the microorganisms can be killed by boiling. At a high temperature, most of the microorganism will die, or we can kill the microorganism at high temperature. Also, in your home, if there is any remainings of your food, especially some curries or any other food materials or maybe vegetables or fruits, we will keep in refrigerator. We will keep vegetables, fruits and other food items in refrigerator. Why? Because in refrigerator, its temperature is very low. Do you know the temperature of refrigerator? What is the temperature? It is approximately 4 degrees Celsius. It's approximately 4 degrees Celsius. That means very low temperature. At low temperature, it is very difficult for the growth of microorganisms. So, giving high temperature, that means heat. Giving low temperature, that means cold. We can prevent the growth of microorganism. If we are keeping a food item in your refrigerator, we are preventing the growth of microorganism. If we are cooking a food, we are preventing the growth of microorganism. So, using heat and cold treatment, we can prevent the growth of microorganism. Thereby, we can preserve the food. Students, did you heard about the word pasteurization? Pasteurization. Okay, we all buy milk packets from different shops. We all buy milk packets from different shops. In the milk packet, there will be a label, pasteurized milk. Did you ever notice that? There will be a label, pasteurized milk. What is its meaning? That means the milk is pasteurized. What do you mean by pasteurization? It's simply just treating the milk at high temperature followed by suddenly cooled condition. Treating the milk at a high temperature followed by suddenly a cool condition. That means in pasteurization, we are treating the milk at 70 degrees Celsius. We are treating the milk at 70 degrees Celsius to 15 to 30 seconds. We are treating the milk at 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds and suddenly it chilled. Suddenly it chilled and packed. So the milk is now it is free of microorganisms and it is safe to use. Clear? This is the pasteurization. Pasteurization means treating the milk at 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds. Listen, this is in seconds. 15 to 30 seconds at 70 degrees Celsius and suddenly just cool the temperature. Just cool the milk or just chill the milk and packed. Now the milk is free of microorganism and it can be used. That's why it's saying we can drink that pasteurized milk without boiling. Because there is no microorganism in the pasteurized milk. So we can drink this pasteurized milk without boiling. Clear? This pasteurization is a heat and cold treatment. Do you know who is the scientist who discovered or who proposed the idea about pasteurization? Who is the scientist? I am giving this as an activity. Just find who is the scientist who proposed the process pasteurization. Clear? Okay, we discussed 5 important food preservation methods. As this preservation, it is important to make sure the packing is very safe. So, the next method is storage and packing. The next method is storage and packing. We all will buy some food products from shop. Maybe some packets of food products, maybe some bakery items or maybe some fruits, anything. What will happen if the packing is not good, or if there is a hole in that packet, or the sealing is not correct? What will happen? The air will enters into the packet. Through the air, microorganisms will enters inside the packet, and these microorganisms will grow in the food and produce the toxic substance and results in food poisoning. So, packing is very important. We should seal the food packets in airtight. Seal airtight to prevent the entry of microorganisms. So, we can preserve the food items by oil and vinegar, by heat and cold treatment, and also by proper storage and packing. While packing, it should be airtight. Otherwise, microorganism can enter into the packet and can spoil the food. So, these are the preservation methods explained in your textbook. What are the preservation methods? One is chemical treatment. Second, preservation by common salt. Third, preservation by sugar. Fourth, heat and cold treatment. Fifth, preservation by oil and vinegar. And sixth, it is important, storage and packing. Hope you clear the topic. Okay students, today we discussed about many diseases caused by microorganisms in plants. And we discussed about food poisoning and some of the food preservation techniques. That's all for today. We can see in next class. Take care my dears. Bye.